Awesome, awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody to our workshop today. Please do come on in, don't be shy. My name's Rachel, I'm a vocal feminization coach, and I've been teaching voice over the last couple of years to help people like myself, trans femmes, to find their voice. For me, voice was a huge problem with dysphoria. My voice originally was, really down low, right down there. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to find a voice that feels like me, but voice is so flexible. There is so much that we can do with it. And so if there's one thing you take away from today, it's that you can do this too. All of these different workshops, lectures, are recorded and put on our VODs channel. So if there's anything you're not too sure about, or you'd like to go back and find some problems that you may have within your own voice exhibited in other people and work through, please do take a look at the YouTube channel. Now, we will be taking questions throughout today. We're going to be taking questions both here from the audience and also live on Discord and Twitch. So if you can't make it in here, don't worry. If you get DC'd and you can't come back in, pop on over to the stream and we should be there to help as well. So a little bit about myself. I'm a head coach here at the VRC Trans Academy, and I also have my own website over at transvoice.com. If you would like to book in a one-on-one or a consultation, would love to help as well. There's currently a little bit of a wait list. We're taking students in May at the minute, but yeah, we'd love to help you there too. So today is a little bit different. Normally what we would do is that we'd go through kind of some of the voice theory from a beginner's perspective, some safety stuff. Then we'd start to have different volunteers up for 10 minutes at a time. But one thing that I found was that the bread and butter of pitch, exploring pitch, of voice production, is something that we kept on coming back to. So I felt it'd be a really good idea in the last session that we could make today specialized all about pitch, exploring the relationship with pitch and weight, exploring our breath and how this all comes together to make a voice that is healthy, sustainable, and where we want it to be. We're going to be taking a look at a bunch of different exercises, all collectively called SOVTEs, and you'll probably see me using these quite a bit in our sessions. Before we go on, though, I do want to get into some safety stuff and some ground rules. So it's really best if you do have a conversation, please do take it out to the courtyard or someone else within the academy and come back whenever you're ready, because it can get quite loud within the stands. I will ask at different points for people to unmute and have some different exercises as a group, and we may also have some time for volunteers today as well. So moving on out of that and talking about safety a little bit, I will still go over that. Just a quick little show of hands. Who's here for the first time today? Who hasn't been to one of these before? Cool beans. And if you're on desktop, please do feel free to jump up and down. That's perfect too. Awesome. And who has been here to one of these before in the past? I recognize a few familiar faces for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Perfect. Okie doke. So with safety, I know for those of you who have been here before, you've heard it all before, but it's just so important that we go over it. Nothing that we do should hurt in voice. That is when we're exercising. That is when we are using our voice, after we're using our voice. If you have any sort of pain, be it a sudden kind of sharp pain or a slow building ache, that should not be happening. And it's a sign from our body that something isn't going to plan. Okie doke. So any sort of pain, stop what you're doing, take it easy, give it a break for the day, come back another day. And if you find that that pain recurs, it's a good option to have a chat with a voice professional who can take a look at what might be going on there. So no pain. As well, we don't want to push or force any of these sounds that we're going to be producing today. The point of some of these SOVTEs is indeed to explore our range and indeed expand our range past where we can comfortably normally get it, but we should not be forcing anything. So if you're feeling like you really have to tense up, you really have to get loud to make a certain sound, that's not the way that we should be practicing really, okay? I don't recommend belting. I don't recommend absolutely sending it to the moon with force, with anything with voice. Take your time, nice and steady, slowly does it. It's a marathon and not a sprint. You know, with resonance as well, the same thing is true. We want to start beginning to move our resonance up and down, but to get those really bright peaks, it takes time. It takes months sometimes to build up the muscles and build the awareness and control. So be patient with yourself, be kind with yourself, and don't try to think, oh, someone up on stage is doing this thing, I should be able to do it. We all have different starting points. As well, even if your starting point is low, that doesn't mean that you can't sound higher up. Even if your starting point is already pretty up there, it may still be that you need to do some of this work to be able to unlock the rest of your range safely and effectively. So listen to your body. As well, if you find that you're getting tense and tight, even in the jaw, the tongue, the neck, Try your best to relax, okay? We shouldn't have any tension within our system, really, when we're doing this right. You may find that you experience some as you're exploring new avenues, new options, and yep, that's good to notice. But I don't want anyone to be holding on to this tightness and just pushing through, hoping that we'll get to the other side. That's not what we should be doing. Okie doke. So again, avoid pain, avoid squeezing, avoid forcing things, getting really loud. And outside of that as well, talking about safety more broadly, there are some things that can help. Stay hydrated is a really big one. Make sure you get a good drink of water a good hour before a practice session. That can really help because it takes time for our body to use that water effectively and lubricate the vocal folds and such. As well, if you're smoking or vaping, it does sadly affect the voice. So please try to minimize that as much as you can or stop if possible. This is true for cannabis, vapes, anything in between. It's really not great for us, so try if you can to knock that on the head. Okie doke. Outside of that as well, excessive caffeine use can be a problem with voice. If you've got acid reflux, that can be a problem. Try your best to manage those symptoms with your doctor or healthcare professional. And as well, if you've had any history of vocal injury or any sort of complications on the follow-up of a tracheal shave or like a vocal feminization procedure, it is good to reach out to a professional before moving forwards with this stuff. Okie doke. So part of this as well is taking a look at the voice first thing in the morning. Do not expect yourself to wake up and be like, yes, I can hit my highest note. So easy. It will take time for your voice to come around. Fortunately, the stuff that we'll cover today is all part of warming your voice up effectively as well. Alrighty, cool. So outside of that, I'd love to know if anybody has any safety questions or concerns or clarifications or thoughts. I'm going to start from the right. If you can raise your hand for me or jump up and down, we'll take a look. Does anybody have any safety questions? No, I think we're all okay. Okie doke, cool. If that changes, do come to the front and we'll try and ask that question for you. Oh, yes, hello. Suio. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Hi, what's your question?
Is it normal for your voice to crack when you're practicing?
Is it what for your voice to practice, sorry?
When your voice cracks, is that normal when you practice?
Yeah, so voice cracks can definitely be a part of the process, 100%, especially as we're exploring new different options, right? We have different registers in our voice. Here in this space, we call them M1, our regular speaking voice. And M2, this kind of high falsetto-y, woo, all that stuff. So if we find that we're practicing and we have all of a sudden a little bit of a crack, that's a-okay, you know. We can work on that problem specifically, and again, funnily enough, this will be covered today. So if you are finding you're getting a lot of voice cracks, there is a way around it. There are things that we can do to manage it, but everyone's normal looks different. For some people, I've had students before that the voice naturally has a big tendency to crack. For others, it's just every now and again as we're approaching the higher notes of the range, but it is something that we can work towards. So I wouldn't worry about it if you're finding that's being a thing. It shouldn't be affecting safety too much. Thank you so much. Great. Any last minute questions on safety before we move on? Nope. Cool beans. Oh, maybe. Is there one over here? No, I think, Rami, I think you're just getting situated. Cool. Awesome. So normally we'd start off talking about pitch and resonance and vocal weight, the big three that we're looking to change within the voice. Resonance, we're not going to do too much of today, but it's all about the size and shape of the container within our voice, everything from our larynx, our voice box, up to our lips. If we make that space really big and yawny, hello, we would call that a dark resonance. Hello. As we make that space smaller, the resonance gets brighter and we get a more femme sound. We also have pitch, how high or low we're going, and vocal weight, which is all about the amount of oomph and drive within the voice. One of the things that I really love to do up here is to get everyone to experience vocal weight together. I want you all to imagine a really cute kitten or a really cute puppy in your hands. It's absolutely adorable, and people have been here before, they're used to this. But we're going to imagine that creature, and on the count of 3, we're all going to make a really nice, really soft okie doke, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and all together. Really softly. Beautiful. Yes. Perfect. So that's a lovely light vocal weight. This is where we're going to be trying to get our voice to be for vocal feminization. For masculinization, a heavier vocal weight is what we want. But yeah, that lighter sound is where we want to be. Heavy vocal weight on the other side of things. That's going to be imagining that cute creature. It's adorable, but it's just thrown up all over us. It's absolutely grim. I want you all to give me a really nice ah on the count of 3. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and ah, please. Ah. Lovely. Yes. So one of the main things today is going to be exploring ways that we can get higher notes without having to get really heavy. Being able to hit them with a really nice, balanced, soft configuration. Okie doke. So that's it for the basics, but we're going to go straight on into this SOVTE stuff. So SOVTEs, it stands for semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. So semi-occlusion means partially covered. What we are doing with a selection of sounds that was formatted much prettier before I uploaded it. These selections of sounds are going to change some of the occlusion within our voice. If we imagine that we have a really nice long garden hose and you've got the tap turned up all the way and you've got water rushing out of the end, if you were to put your thumb over the end of that hose, what would happen to the pressure? Would it go up or would it go down? If everyone could just shout out their answer, is that going up or down, the pressure?
Up. Goes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. The same is true for our voice. If we go on ahead and we narrow the opening of our voice, of which there are 2, our mouth and our nose, then it's going to change the pressure inside of this kind of vocal hose that we have from our lungs to our lips, okay? So we can use this pressure to our advantage. Semi-occlusion, partially covered. Vocal tract, everything from our voice box, our larynx, up to our lips. An exercise because, well, it is an exercise. So what I want to do is explore each of these different sounds with you. We're then going to take a look at how we can use these to address certain problems, the different problems that this can help with, of which there's quite a few. And then we'll get some different volunteers up to be able to work through some of these exercises together so that we can take a look at what these SOVTEs are sounding like with these individuals. Okie doke. So the first sound that we have here, and they go left to right, new row, left to right, new row, left to right, that's going to be an increase in pressure. The first sound that has the least pressure of all of them is a nice old Now to do this, what I'm going to do is find the note that we all can have together on the count of 3. I want you all on a nice, soft ah sound to match me on this note right here. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and beautiful, lovely. People are really in tune today. That's awesome. Perfect. Great. So that note right there is an F3. It's a nice place to start. Ideally, we want to be able to do these exercises up to about a B3 or a C4, but this will depend on your own individual circumstances, and we'll get to that in a bit. So let's explore this first one together. On the count of 3, I want you all to go back to that note, and we're going to go for a really nice, really soft sound. Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and beautiful, gorgeous, perfect. Alrighty, here comes the next one. I want everyone to have a really nice big breath in, and we're going to go for an as in November. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lovely, great job everyone, really good job. Okay, the next one coming up is going to be a zzz sound, as in buzz. Now this is the first one where we're going to start to take a look at some of the little intricacies of our mouth shape. So when we make a zzz, we can adjust the position of our tongue to be like more behind our teeth, in between our teeth. We can change the opening of the lips. Each of these things will change dynamically the amount of resistance that we feel within our system. If you're finding that when using the sound it feels like really shaky, try experimenting with the embouchure, with what your lips are doing, what your tongue's doing, try and modulate that pressure. Alrighty, we're going to try making this zzz together. Again on this note, it's going to sound like zzz. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and zzz. Lovely. Great. Big old beehive in the building. Perfect. Alrighty, the next one is a little bit weird. It's going to be a whoosh sound. What we're going to try and do is take the word television and stretch out the whoosh part. All right. On the count of 3, I want everyone to just try and say television. Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and television. Beautiful. Okay, let's go back to that whoosh sound by itself. And again, I'll count you all in. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and yes, perfect. Absolutely. Now, we may be feeling as we go through these that each of these has its own kind of unique little qualities, that each of them, well, maybe some of them will be difficult for us, maybe some of them won't be, as the pressure starts to change. That's totally, totally normal. Now, this next one, I know that this can be pretty polarizing. Some people cannot make the sound, and if you're amongst these people, do not worry about it. What we're going to do is we're going to take our tongue, put it to the roof of our mouths, and try and make that sort of sound. We'll add voice to it in just a sec. What I don't want you to do is to use your uvula. You know the little dangly bit at the back of our mouth that like Tom and Jerry always like punching stuff? We don't want any... That's not what I'm looking for. We're going to use our tongue instead. On the count of 3, let's try this together with no voice, just the tongue. 3, 2, 1. Good. Yes, yes, yes. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and take a big old breath in. We're going to go to this note, and it's going to sound like this. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Good work. For those of you that struggle with this one, do not worry. There are plenty of them, and we aren't obliged to go through each and every one of them to get a fantastic voice, okay? Really, really, really awesome. So here's the next one. It's going to be a as in victory. Okie doke. On the count of 3, we're all going to make this sound together. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Gorgeous. Yes, 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 yes. I'm so impressed with how in tune everyone is today. This is sick. Great work. So just like the zzz, there are some fine adjustments that we can make with the positioning of our lips and our teeth to make sure that that pressure feels equalized and sustainable, that there's a little bit of resistance that we can lean into to stabilize that sound. Okie doke. Great. Now this next one I use all the time as in my workshops. It's like my second favorite one of these. I think it's so, so, so good. What we're going to try and do is wet our lips. We are going to push them out. Now, I know this is harder to do in like VR when you can't see me, but in any case, we're going to push our lips out a bit, making a big old fishy face, and we're going to kind of make a noise like a horse. It's going to go like... Now, for me personally, my teeth are almost together in my mouth. I'm getting a big old breath in, and I'm making sure that I'm not going... and I'm just losing all my air, and I'm not going... like a tuba or like a trumpet. Those brass players out there amongst you, watch out. We want them to be nice and relaxed, our lips, okay? On a count of 3, we're going to try and make this sound together. First of all, give it a little go off mic. Have a little bit of a practice. Okay, so let's do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good, 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 good. I heard 1 or 2 people giving it a little bit too many beans, too much of a... Don't worry if that was you. We're going to try this down next with a bit of the voice coming in. Again, this is going to be a really nice, really gentle movement. Have a listen and repeat after me. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good, 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 good. Awesome. Alrighty, now for this last one, I don't think everyone's going to have the stuff available to be able to do this, but this is my absolute favorite one of these, okay? I really don't advise doing this in VR unless you want a really soggy Quest or whatever headset you're using, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a glass of water, or a bottle, even better. I have one right here with me, and I've got like a regular sized straw that is about, I don't know, a couple of millimeters in diameter in its aperture, maybe like 3-4 mils. So regular size drinking straw. We don't want like a boba straw. We don't want a cocktail straw. We want like a regular drinking straw. Glass or metal is preferable to paper because the paper ones will just disintegrate on us a little bit. Now this glass, I've got about a pint glass here, and I've got somewhere between, I don't know, a third to about half of the glass filled with water. I'm taking my straw, I'm putting it about an inch into the surface of the water, or around about 3 or 4 centimeters. And then what I'm going to do is take a really nice big old breath and just start to gently push some bubbles through the system. Have a listen to this. Nice and gentle. What I'm not having is, oh my God, that went everywhere. It's really nice and gentle, this sound. So what I'm going to then do after that is I'm going to get these bubbles moving, and I'm going to start to add this hum. And this is the final one of these SOVTEs. I love this one because it gives us so much information as to what our breath is doing. It gives us really visible feedback, and we can feel it, we can see it in the bubbles. And it also is really interesting in separating out our breath from our voice. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to come on up and try this exercise with me. So if there's anybody who has available to them a straw and a glass of water, again, it's probably best if you're on desktop, but it would be great if you have that ready, and we'll try that out. Oh, Duke, do you already have that available?
Yeah.
I see you raising your hand there. You do? Awesome.
Oh.
Alrighty. Well, why don't you come up on stage? If everyone give Duke a big old round of applause for just volunteering herself, that would be great. All right, Duke. Now, I'm going to ask you to do some things with the straw and water. I know that you're in VR, but I just need to get quick verbal confirmation. I know it's silly that you won't hold myself or the Trans Academy at large liable for any damages that occur as you use this around your technology. Is that all okay? Thank you very much. Okay.
It should be fine because it's got a lid on.
Good. Okay, perfect. Make sure it's all nice and tight.
Lid.
Good. Perfect. So what I would like you to do is to place your straw, again, about an inch into the center of the water, and just blow a steady stream of bubbles, just as so. You can give that a little go. There it is. Perfect. Now, it might be that your sound's getting a little bit filtered. What I'd love for you to do for me is just to quickly check your settings, your sound settings, and make sure that under microphone that your noise suppression is turned off and your mic activation threshold is turned all the way down. Okay? Beautiful. I can definitely hear more stuff now. Okay, let's give it another go. Perfect. Alrighty. Let's see if you can go ahead and match me on this note next to you. Can you give that a go? Beautiful. Cool. That's what, sorry?
It's good. Or is that good?
It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I can hear it loud and clear. Great. So here's a little bit of a challenge for you. What we're going to try and do is explore the separation of our breath and our voice. So when we have problems with sound production, when we have a voice that gets fatigued, or it gets really tired, or it's really breathy, or it's not strong enough, a lot of things can come, a lot of these problems can originate from the breath, from the power. A really good idea is to really split out our power from our source, our breath from our voice, because they're two separate entities. For a lot of us, when we say, okay, let's go ahead and talk, we start our breath with the voice and we end our breath with the voice. But what I'm going to ask you to do here, Duke, is to blow a steady stream of bubbles. And I'm going to ask you to turn your voice on and off without any interruption to the bubbles. Have a listen to this and see if you can match me. Nice and gentle. Take it away when you're ready. Oh, you've made it look easy. Perfect. Really, really good. In my one-on-one sessions, I would argue that around about 50%, maybe like 75, honestly, of my students, when they first try this, instead have this going on. Did everybody notice how the bubbles stopped when my voice stopped? Yep. Perfect. that is what we want to get rid of. We can start off nice and slow. If you have this problem, what you need to do is visualize the air going through your straw and just imagine your vocal folds coming together and going apart. Really visualize it out. You can start slow, get faster and faster, and it can really help you to start to be more cognizant, more aware of the separation between these two different mechanisms. Thank you so much, Nzichuk. I really appreciate it. If you can go ahead and take a seat for me, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Woo! Great work. I'm going to come back to you in a little bit. Great work. And again, if anybody would like to volunteer with this exercise, please do go on ahead and get your straw and water ready.
Is now a good time to ask if there's
Perfect.
supposed to be slides?
I have it.
Just this one at the minute. What can you see on the screen currently? You should have like
Absolutely
semi-included
nothing.
vocal tract exercises. Oh no!
It's just
Can
the
anybody
Trans
else see
Academy
everything
logo,
on the
I'm
screen?
afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, I only
can,
see
yeah.
the
I'm on PC.
semi-occluded
Yeah,
vocal tract exercises.
We should see semi-occluded.
Right there.
Maybe if you try respawning, it might help. Yeah, if you
That's
see
an idea.
semi-occluded vocal tract exercises, that's what we want. I'm going to switch between the presentations and see if that helps.
Oh, now it
Thank you for
says
letting me know.
fine.
Okay, there we are. Okie doke. So, Courier, hello. Do you have a question?
I was wondering, it's like all the volunteers that you'll be having today, are they also gonna have to use the drinking straw method?
No, absolutely not. But it's just if we're looking at this drinking straw stuff at the minute, no. We'll get some other volunteers up for some other ones. So don't you worry if you don't have that available. It's all good. So we've talked about these different sounds. We've experienced them all together, and I think we all did a pretty good job of finding these all things. You've done really, really well so far. But let's talk about why we should use these. We've touched on it a little bit before, but SOVTEs have a really broad application range, okay? They are fantastic warm-ups. First thing in the morning, you'll find me doing this normally in the shower, not with a straw and water, but with lip trills. Moving up and down, trying out some of these other exercises that we're going to go to, these 10-second notes and these things that are called fits. They're really, really good as warm-ups. When we go to sleep, our vocal folds tuck themselves away. They get covered in a protective layer of mucus, and all of the allergens, dust, and crud that we breathe in sits on top of those vocal folds. As well, they aren't moisturized, they don't have as much blood flow. And so when we wake up in the morning, we have this like, oh my God, my voice just does not want to move. So these SOVTEs are fantastic for getting blood flow over to the vocal folds so they're nice and happy and hydrated, and for getting rid of some of that mucus that sits on them. If you're somebody that finds that your voice is fatiguing you quite a bit throughout the day, it may be that you're going too high for your range currently, and that's a different kettle of fish. But it may also be that you're using your voice in a suboptimal manner. We have a lot of variables in the mechanics of our voice. We have the breath, the togetherness of the vocal folds, the orientation of the muscles within the vocal folds themselves. We have our resonance, we have our false vocal folds, muscle tension, tongue position, all sorts of stuff that can potentially mean that we aren't having the most bang for our buck when it comes to using our voice more effectively. So if you're someone that finds that actually I'm getting really tired throughout the day, using these SOVTEs for like 5 minutes throughout your days, you're starting to feel fatigued, can be a fantastic reset to get you back into a place where you're using your voice more optimally. If you're somebody that has a really weak voice, if you find that actually my voice is like really quite soft and it's hard to be heard, this is a place as well where SOVTEs are going to be an excellent arena for you to get some more power back into your voice. If I have a really kind of quieter, weaker voice, it's harder for me to produce the sound in the SOVTE effectively. If I'm trying to go for a really nice full sound, this SOVTE can be an excellent template to guide you towards that. On the flip side, if you're somebody who's using a lot of really heavy vocal weight, maybe throughout their voice typically, so we've got this kind of buzzy thing going on normally with our voice, we can hear it in the SOVTEs. Have a listen to the difference between these two. I'm going to ask someone from the crowd, which one do you feel I was heavier in? Which one was more like that ah sound rather than that ah sound? Have a listen. Anybody brave who could tell me which one was the heavier sounding one of the two? Can you please raise your hand? Hello, Riley. Which one sounded heavier to you?
I'd say the first one sounded heavier.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely, 100%. So if we're somebody who struggles with a heavy vocal weight generally within our voice, we can use these again to guide us towards a place of better vocal weight balance. If we are finding that our heaviness is coming in when we are going higher and I'm really having this pushy sort of sound, when the sunlight strikes, raindrops in the air, and it gets pushy as I go up in pitch, these can help you to be able to equalize your vocal weight across your range so that as you go up, nope, I've noticed myself getting too heavy. Okay, now it's starting to get equally light. So it can help out with that too. It can help us out with blends between our different registers. We talked earlier about how we've got an M1 and an M2, this kind of like regular speech voice, and this more falsetto-y M2-y voice. Ooh. If we're someone who struggles with voice cracks, as there's a question about earlier, we can use these SOVTEs to discover how we can navigate between our different registers. Exploring that smooth connection rather than that sudden pop. That break in registers is caused by an improper balance of vocal weight and airflow. To get that really nice blend between our registers, we want to be nice and soft in our vocal weight, and also have plenty of air, enough air going through that we can support that change as our voice changes gears. And finally, as well, it can really help with confidence and exploration. For beginners who are just terrified of getting started with this stuff, this is an excellent way into exploring and getting to know your voice. I know this like firsthand, it's always still surprising to me sometimes that I'm here doing this as a profession full-time now, because for me, working with my voice initially, I was terrified of it. As soon as I started to get into the topic, I was super spooked because I was like, oh, I'm so low, I'm not going to be able to get there. Looking at it just felt awful because I kept on gendering my voice. I kept on thinking, oh my God, there's so many things I got to be aware of. This helps you to start to navigate that, to battle our dysphoria, to combat our uncomfortability, and to expose ourselves to this kind of feeling of, oh, okay, maybe it's not so bad. We can start to feel like, actually, if I can do this one thing and I can see progress here, maybe I can elsewhere. So there are so many reasons why these are really, really, really good. Again, to go over them, if your voice has fatigue often throughout the day, if you find that your voice is breathy or it's too buzzy, if it's too buzzy at certain pitches, if you're having trouble getting started in the morning and you need to warm up, if you're having trouble with your voice cracking as well, if you find that you're just stuck and terrified with your voice and want a place to start and to get in, which is safe and easy to navigate, this is the ticket. These are the reasons why I keep on going back to these exercises within my regular workshops here, because they're just so, so, so great. When we think about vocal feminization being pitch, resonance, and vocal weight, this takes two of those, and this makes it so much more, easy to digest and to approach. So let's stop me yammering about applications in different contexts. We can use these. Let's start to explore how we can use these together as well. There are a lot of us that don't have a big music background. And if you're amongst this crowd, it's a really good idea for you to download Voice Tools. It's a free app, non-spon, and it's got some great resources in there that we can use. Especially, it's got a tone section where you're able to generate all sorts of different notes from F# 2 all the way to an F4. This can really help you to be able to map out your voice and explore it. Now, for this next bit, I would love to get a volunteer from the crowd, perhaps somebody who hasn't used these exercises before or is quite new to voice. I would love to volunteer. So if there's anybody in the crowd, I'd love it if you could raise your hand if you're feeling brave. And Riley, hello, I know that your hand's shot up there. If you could come up on stage, if everyone could give Riley a big old round of applause, please, for being so brave. Yeah. Thank you very much.
This one sounded heavier.
Alrighty, Riley. So, feeling good? Everyone could give Riley a big old round of applause. Alrighty, Riley. So, feeling good?
Yes, nervous on stage.
Yeah. So we're going to try and explore your voice and see how stable it can be. Okay. We're going to try this first without an SOVTE, just with an ah sound. Now, I've got a 10-second timer on my screen in front of me here, and I will let you know when to start and when to finish. What I want you to do is to take a really nice big breath in a bit, and we're going to try and hold this ah sound for around about 10 seconds, and we're going to see how it feels for you. First of all, though, I want to try and see if you can match this note. You got this. Can you see if you can match me up here? Gorgeous. Okay. Oh, I also need you, Riley, to please double check your voice settings. I think you're getting stilted a little bit. If you take a look at your settings, and then if you take a look at microphone, please make sure that noise suppression is turned off, and that indeed your mic
plus
activation
more voice
threshold is
breaking.
all the way down for me, please. Oh no, it didn't sound like that. It sounded digital. Don't worry. I think you nailed it.
It is at
Okay,
0 and noise
here we go.
suppression is off.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's give this a go. I'm going to count you in. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to tell you when to stop. And again, that note is right here. Okay, here we go. Big breath in. 3, 2, 1, start. Good work. I'm so sorry, Riley, but that something is in your system is altering your voice, and it completely got lost, I'm afraid, about halfway through. Do you have any other sort of noise filtration going on in your system?
None. I have nothing on, actually.
I'm so sorry. Oh no, it might be just something inbuilt with your microphone. I'm unfortunately going to have to ask you to take another seat because we just couldn't hear you, but I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okie doke. Thank you very much, Riley. Can I get a big round of applause for Riley for being brave, though? Thank you so much. Woo! Great. Can I have another volunteer? And please do make sure that any noise suppression is turned off for me. Courier, hello, if you can come up on stage. And I can get a big round of applause for Courier, please. Thank you so much. Woo! Welcome on up.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okie doke. So let's try this together. We're going to go back to that now. Let's find it first of all. Can you see if you can match me here with a quick ah sound? Beautiful. That's perfect. Okay, I'm going to ask you to take a big breath in. I'm going to count you down from 3 to 1, then I'm going to time you for 10 seconds. Here we go. 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Begin, please. Oh, I'm so sorry, Cara. I'll keep going. It sounds like some sort of noise filtration is going on again, I'm afraid. Are you going like, stop? Stop, or is that one continuous note?
The thing is, I'm quest standalone, and like when I keep the pitch up, like it goes on for a little bit, but then the microphone just stops.
Okay.
I think that can be changed though.
That's unhelpful.
Yeah. Was that happening with my mic as well as I did some of these longer notes, crowd? Is that what was happening? Because I'm also on quest. I'm hoping it wasn't. No?
It wasn't that dramatic.
Okay.
I'm also on a quest.
Here, let me see.
I'm on a quest too.
Microphone. What about turn the
too.
threshold down?
Yeah, threshold down. Any noise filtration turned off. Fingers crossed.
Mic output. I think this noise suppression's off too. I think this should help.
Okay, let's give it another go. Here we go. That note again is right here. I'm going to count you down. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Take it away. Well done. Well done indeed. So it did get filtered, but enough came through that I could hear a few things happened. One of them was that we ran out of air. Another one was there were a few little elements of shakiness in the voice that every now and again it started to wobble a little bit rather than keeping it nice and consistent. What I found as well was that the voice at the start was a little bit heavy. We started to get like a I wasn't too sure if that changed throughout your exercise because, again, of the noise filtration, but these are the things that we're looking out for. Is my note consistent? Do I have plenty of air? Do I find that actually I'm starting to get heavy to be able to make this note? Am I wiggling? Is my voice cracking? Does it feel really hard for me to produce this note? These are the questions that we are looking to ask and the answers that we are looking to gain as well, the problems that we are looking to solve. So what I want to do with you is to go on ahead and try one of these SOVTEs with you. I want to try this lip trill, first of all. I want you to see if you can make the sound with me. We're going to go ahead and try and make the lip trill on that G3. Have a listen. Can you try matching me there, please? Good job indeed. So again, I'm afraid the mic filtration is just getting in the way. I'm so sorry, Courier. But what you would do in this instance is you'd go ahead and practice going up through the scale from around about a C3 up to about, I don't know, a B3, C4, or until the point where you start to feel that actually this is starting to get really effortful. If you're trying to do this up high, for instance, on the C4, it just keeps cracking like that. When we have reached our ceiling and we need to go about a note or two notes underneath it until that cracking all starts to stop. We don't want to practice where it's like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 difficulty. We want to practice where things just start to get a little bit tricky, when my voice maybe just starts to crack, and when I just start to have some of those wiggles coming in that is making my voice a little bit more unstable. Can you do me a favor? Can you try this up here, actually? Let's see if you can do this with a really nice light vocal weight. Nice and soft on that note, please. When you're ready with the lip trill, take it away, please, Carrier.
So sorry, give me a minute.
No problem. Cool. So did you feel kind of that sense of effortfulness that was in the start of that? I felt as though I could almost hear your whole body go, oh God, and then we're about to do the thing. Not to worry, this happens to everyone here at some point. But what we're looking to do is to get this really nice and relaxed. What I want you to do is to challenge yourself to keep nice and relaxed, to try and work out any sort of tension that may be in your body. Shrug your shoulders a bit, try and get as not tight as you can. And what we're going to do is we're going to glide up to this note, trying to keep a soft, soft, soft vocal weight. Have a listen to this. Nice and easy breezy. I didn't have any tension in my jaw, my cheeks, my neck, anything like that. Give that a go for me when you're ready, gliding up and holding it for a second or two. Nice and soft. Much better. Much, much, much better. I didn't feel this at the end, this big release of tension. I didn't feel like it beforehand. And the whole voice sounded to be a bit more balanced. This is what we're looking for. We're looking to fine-tune how the sound comes out and pay attention to our bodies. If we are finding that as we go up higher, that things are getting trickier, it's harder for us to get these nice soft tones, it may be that the answer lies in our breath. Using a femme voice is going to take more airflow than we are used to with a very masculine voice. So what I'd like to do is to try and see if we can go up a little bit higher again. And what I want you to do is to really sigh through this next one, get plenty of air moving. I don't want you to be like throughout the whole thing, but just try and get a little bit more air moving through your system as we try and go a little bit higher up. Have a listen to this one for me. Can you give that a go, please, Carrier, when you're ready? Good, but I felt that heaviness coming in. We're going to go even slower, and as you feel that urge to squeeze, to push, to get heavy, add more airflow instead. Really nice and slow. Okay, take it away when you're ready. Well done. Thank you so much indeed, Courier. Now, again, it's a little hard to hear everything that's going on because of the mic filtration, but I'd love if everyone could give Courier a really huge round of applause for this one. I really appreciate you coming out. I really appreciate you coming out here. Woo! Thanks so much. Great work. If you could please take your seat, that would be brilliant. Really, really, really good work. Yeah. So, what I'd like to do with you all is a little bit of a hearing test. Okay, I'm going to perform a few of these different SOVTEs, and I'm going to see if you can hear which one I'm sounding more effortful on, which one am I increasing my vocal weight on, which one has the problem that needs to be resolved. Okay, on the left-hand side, this is going to be on my left-hand side. This is going to be sound A. Over here is going to be sound B. So, for example, we would all say that sound A is the one that sounded heavy, that sounded more energy needing to be forced through it here, that sounded more forceful. Okie doke. So sound A on this side, sound B on this side. And if you'd like to take part, I'd like you all to come into the middle for me, please. As we give this a little bit of a go. And don't be shy if we get it wrong, it's all good. Okay. So, and if you wouldn't like to take part, I'd love to ask if you can go to the corner for me just to keep the stands clear so I can see the answers. That would be really, really good. Thank you so much. Alrighty, let's give this a little bit of a go. So, question number 1. Oh, where's my straw and water went? There it is. Great. That's sound A. Here's sound B. Which one had the problem on it? Sound A on this side, sound B on this side. Well done. The vast majority of you got it right. It was indeed sound B. Great. Let's do another one here. And back to the middle, everyone. Really, really good job. This next one, I'm going to go for a little bit of a longer note. Have a listen. See what you think. Which one had that problem in it? Sound B again. You're all absolutely right. Great work. Okie doke. And back to the middle. Let's try something a little bit different here. What I'm going to do next is demonstrate this other exercise that we have, which is called a fifth. A fifth is just a fancy way of saying a certain distance between two different notes. We use this because it helps us to analyze our voice as we use it more dynamically. Because when we're talking, we don't just talk on one note, even though I use that a lot in my exercises. We're going to be moving around in our pitch. And so if we have problems, like I talked about earlier, where we are pushing on these higher notes, moving through our range dynamically can be a great experimentation to see how we can stop this from happening in more dynamic natural speech. So have a little listen to these two. And what I'm going to be asking you to listen out for is that pushiness coming in on the high note here. Okay? That's sound A. And that's sound B. Which one sounded like I was pushing, squeezing, getting more effort in? Absolutely. 100% correct. So all this stuff, you can all take your seats. Thank you so much indeed. You did great with that one. It's a personal journey. It's about listening to ourselves. And, you know, one thing that I see with students often is that they don't have the confidence to be able to feel like they can assess their own progress, assess their own success or failure. They're like, am I doing this right? Am I not? Compare your sound, record yourself, try it in different environments, try it with different SOVTEs, try taking a look at these different pressure environments that we have within these sounds and see which ones have these different things happening that we're not really choosing to have happen. Again, pitch instability, voice cracking, pushing harder, things feeling like you're tightening up in your body. All of this is a sign that our voice may not be properly balanced. These sounds, by using them for about 10 minutes a day, have been shown to really help people with their vocal function, with how they can use the voice in a balanced and healthy way. They train us, kind of like, hydrotherapy. It's like a safe environment for us to discover optimal movement, and the same is true with these exercises here. They're really, really, really excellent. So listen to your body, experiment with them here. What I like to do to assign my students is 10 minutes a day. I like to recommend the straw and water is always there. I like to recommend my students spend 5 minutes on 10-second long notes. Again, ideally going up to a B3 or C4 in the M1. But if you find that you're cracking, you're pushing, it doesn't feel comfortable, bring that ceiling down. For the other 5 minutes, I like to say that you should go up in these different fifths. Okie doke. So for half of that time again, so a quarter of that, 2.5 minutes with the straw and water, 2.5 minutes with a different SOVTE. So 2.5 minutes of straw and water and 10-second notes, exploring our range. 2.5 minutes of on a day or zzz on a different day with these 10-second notes, and the same again with the fifths. That practice routine is an excellent way that we can start to explore, navigate, and prevent these problems from happening within our speech. And as well, they're a great warm-up first thing in the day. Excellent. If you're feeling fatigued by the end of a day, a little 1, 2, 3 can get us right back to where things are feeling much better after we've picked up all the stress and anxiety that we can sometimes have through a day. Great, okie doke. So moving on from this here, there's one more little thing that I want to talk about with these, and that has completely left my mind. We'll come back to that. I want to know if anyone's got any questions so far about these SOVTEs, how to use them, why to use them, or what we are looking for here. I'd love it if you could go on ahead and raise your hand for me if you've got any questions whatsoever. Courier, hello. What's your question, please?
This is more of a question about voices in general, but like my voice in real life compared to when I hear it on a mic, it sounds very, very different. Is that a normal thing?
It is, absolutely. I'm going to ask the questions. I set this one stay onto the topic of SOVTEs, sorry. But yeah, absolutely, 100%. Our voice, as it is produced within our body, it conducts through our face bones, our sinuses, and it inducts into the inner ear. And we get a very different profile, timbre, sound, character, an impression, very different impression of how our voice sounds as opposed to how it is when it leaves our mouth. When it exists in the room, it sounds way different. This is true for everyone, cis and trans alike, you know. So when you're exercising, doing recordings, know that that difference is to be expected and trust the recording more than how it sounds internally. It's going to be the big one. Perfect. Alrighty, any other questions about these SOVTEs? So far. Hello, Violet. Hi, what's your question, please?
Which one do you like recommend to do in the morning? Like, because you mentioned lip chill, but is there like another one that's really good for to do in the morning as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of them are good. The lip trill and the straw and water are my favorites, I think. My morning routine is long, sustained, low notes first. So I'll go like, just different vowels on like a really low note that helps to get all the crud and stuff off of our vocal tract first. Then, yeah, I normally use lip trills in the shower, but I use a variety of them. You can't really go wrong. Mix it up, spice it up. The main thing is that you're getting your voice up and alive and using it, starting off low, starting to move it up a little bit more and more. So don't go straight to your high notes. Start to warm up to it just gently as if you're stretching. That's a really good way that you can start the day. Thanks for your question.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions about the SOVTEs on this side? Nope. And it came back to me, my thought before. These fits, how do you find them? Well, in voice tools, it's really, really, really easy. You don't need to worry about understanding music theory or anything like that. What we do is we look at a note. So for example, C3. And if anyone has your voice tools app installed, please do go ahead and grab it. Go down to the tone section down the bottom. If we're looking at C3, the way that I find the fifth of C3 is I go up 1 to F sharp 3, then the long 1 to the right. So, there we are. Same thing again, if I looked at D3, for example, to find the fifth from D3, I go up 1 to G sharp 3, then the long 1 to the right to A3. And we've got that lovely fifth there. Does anybody have their Voice Tools app open in front of them at the minute in the crowd? Scully does. You just volunteered yourself, Scully. Thanks so much. So if you were to find a fifth from E3, when we're going up 1 and the long 1 to the right, where would you land?
Wait, up 1 and then above it? You
1
mean
to the
like
right.
1 to
So
the
like
right.
1 above and then 1 to the right.
Oh, so the B3?
Absolutely spot on. Perfect. That pattern is how we find our fifths. What would happen if we go to an F3, Scully?
You go B3, C4?
Absolutely. F3 to C4. goes up one to the B3, a long one on the other side of the screen. Perfect. Thank you so much. Really nice, easy way that we can find these fifths. Perfect. Alrighty, so I want to open up the questions to our online streams as well. I'd love to know, are there any questions online on Twitch or Discord, please? I'm not actually too sure who's taking the questions today.
There are
Pepper's
not
high.
any that are there are not any that are specifically on SOVTEs for right now. So,
Cool beans. No worries. Does anybody have any final SOVTE questions before we open it up just to general voice questions? Hello, Kausa. What's your question?
Is there a preferred order in which to do these SOVTEs?
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I would recommend 5 minutes a day, half of them with the strong water, half of them with a random SOVTE. And random in the true sense of random. Any one will be great. And over time, explore more and more. But no, outside of that, there's no real order. These are in order of pressure. So, strong water is getting increasingly pressurized. But in practice, that's fine. Great question. Any other questions about these SOVTEs before we open it up to just more general questions? Hello, Sirius. Hi. What's your question?
Can we do this for more than 10 minutes?
Yeah, you absolutely can. The rule of thumb is that if you're starting to get fatigued, tired, notice that you're straining, you're tensing, you're losing focus, wrap up. The studies that have been done on these exercises, there's a suite of exercises called vocal function exercises, which use some of these alongside some other stuff. They've been studied by universities, and the peak effectiveness has been found to be like 10, 15 minutes a day. That's all we really need. But if you want to do them more, 100%, as long as you pay attention to your body throughout, then that should be absolutely fine. I would say probably the upper limit, I'd put it as like 20 minutes. You'll have a big workout and be like, oh, okay, after that point.
Right on, thanks.
Cool. No problem. Any other questions about these SOVTEs? Zayo, hello. What's your question? I'll come to you in a sec, Scully.
Hey there. I was just
Hello.
wondering if you don't have a straw for the water, is there any other method? I know you mentioned the one with the SOVTs in the shower. Is this good?
Yeah, sure. So if you don't have a straw in water, don't worry. I'd probably replace the straw in water with a lip trill instead. So I do like lip trill and zzz, lip trill and zzz. But yeah, when I'm getting ready and I'm like rushing against the clock to like get to my first session, I normally don't have the straw in water like ready with me in the shower. And so I'll just do a variety of these really. But I think any of these are better than none as long as we are paying attention to our body throughout. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Scully, what was your SOVTE question, please?
Mine was, can we just use the SOVTs to just clean up any like details that may be bothering us and stuff, like you said before, things being too like harsh or hard.
Yeah, 100%. I really like to use these in the workshops as we start to go into like speaking. So something like this, I'll have someone go up to a certain note. I'll have them go out of the SOVTE just into open phonation where they just either remove the lips from the straw or just stop making the sound. When the sunlight strikes raindrops in the air, and it can help to show us how we can get to that relaxed, balanced state. So 100%. You can also use them if there's a voice that you like, that you want to kind of learn from with mimicry and imitate. Then if someone's going like, hello, hi, how are you? You can experiment following the same patterns of inflection with the SOVTEs. Absolutely. Great. And then we can start to notice that dynamic pushiness as you go to those highs really well. So many applications. They're great. I love them. Absolutely. Thanks for that question. I really like that. Any other questions about these SOVTEs, please? And terminally Evie, hello. What's your question?
If you're doing masculinization, do you do the SOVs the same way as shown here?
Yeah, for sure. So, absolutely. The focusing on masculinization, we're going to be focusing more on taking that pitch down rather than exploring like the higher extremities. But same rules apply, absolutely. The thing is that with voice masculinization, we actually want that heavier vocal weight, you know, as we want to bring it down. That's a really nice way that we can start to find more of that oomph and balance. And yeah, 100%. I will say I'm not an expert. I only ever really teach vocal feminization, but we do have classes with Savvy and with Jess that can definitely help you out with that next Sunday. But thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Alrighty. Well, taking a look at the time, I'm sorry I didn't get to more general questions, but we're going to have to wrap up for today. But again, I want to thank you all so much for being here with us today. I hope that this is a video that we can point back to quite a bit later on down the line. And I really hope that we've helped to like clear up the mystery around these things and that you all feel more comfortable exploring your voice, going through your range and finding balance and sustainability in it. But thank you all so much for spending Sunday with me. I appreciate you all and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks so much.
We appreciate
Where are the
you.
vocal folds?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, shucks. Thank you so much.
Practical.
All right, everyone, take care. Bye.